All right. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Quad Pod. I'm Coach Greg, joined by Rich, James, and Marilyn. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Hey. Been having a withdrawal. I was like, when are we getting
I know we missed a week. I was out sick last week. Luckily over my case of COVID. Slowly coming back to normal. Everybody else though is healthy, hopefully.
Yeah.
Cool.
Generally.
Cool.
Physically, right?
Well, yeah, we know it's not the other. So fun little episode today. It'd probably be a little bit shorter than our normal ones, but we got a couple things to talk about. One was the excitement of our sweat test 2 weeks ago. We got all of us here plus a bunch of teammates. We probably had about 10, 12 people here for testing, James?
I think so.
Cool. Mm-hmm. We brought in a consultant from Precision Fuel and Hydration. James, do you have her name?
Nikki.
And her company that she owns?
Elevate Performance.
Elevate Performance. She's based out of the city, right?
Yeah. I think it's like Elevate Performance Systems.
Yeah.
Or it's like Elevate by Nikki. But yeah, she's on social media. If you go to Precision Hydration's website and you look for like where you can get sweat tested, they'll ask you what state. And then if you put in our area, New Jersey, she's right out in New York.
Yeah, I think she's the only one that's anywhere in the tri-state area, really. But since we had a big group, she came out to us, did it here at the clinic, and I think we all kind of learned a little something, right?
Yeah, There's some interesting results. But I do want to apologize to Nikki because I realized we were all just eating pizza, having drinks, and I didn't offer her any of
You
it.
didn't offer her anything?
I mean, she was busy going between each one of us the whole time. I mean, so that was like afterwards, like, oh my gosh, we didn't even offer her any food.
Yeah.
So we're sorry. We owe you some pizza.
Come back.
Yeah.
I think she is going to come back, right, and do like a follow-up thing with us, or is that going to be virtual?
It's going to be Zoom, yeah.
Okay. So I'd never been sweat tested before. Marilyn, you had, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same procedure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly the same.
So they hook you up to a little electrode on your forearm, run some kind of current through you a little bit to get your sweat glands going, and then put some kind of capillary tube on there, and it soaks up.
So when you guys got the electrodes removed,
Yeah.
what was it like
What do you mean?
in terms of volume of sweat?
I didn't even realize I was sweating.
So when she took off mine, sweat was pouring off my arm.
way,
and she was
really?
like, oh, she was like, yeah, it was like they took off the thing and just it poured down my forearm.
Gosh.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah. So I think that kind of
I mean, it's not surprising.
is not
I guess.
surprising
Yeah.
considering. I didn't even notice a glisten or a glimmer of sweat on my arm when they took it off.
Yeah.
Mine was wet, but just on the spot, like not.
Yeah, I didn't even have that.
Nope.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that I had stimulated my sweat glands.
Have you weighed yourself before and after some workouts?
I did. So I was, I had done a run outside and a bike inside. The run was an easy one, close to an hour. And I think when I normalized for an hour, I lost like about 3/4 of a liter. So like 750 milliliters, like just like 1.5 pounds when I factored in the water that I had drank and stuff like that.
Did you lose more on the bike?
Yes, I was closer to a liter on the bike.
And how many? So was that in terms of?
It was
pounds?
almost 2 pounds.
2 pounds.
Yeah,
Okay.
or I guess it was a little bit over 2 pounds when you factored in how much I had drank. The weight on the scale wasn't too much different because I drank close to a liter of water when I was riding. So,
how about you guys? Any interesting weight numbers?
I would have to be very similar to Greg. It's about
Yeah,
a pound and a
mine
half,
was too.
2 pounds, and calculating the water. And
Not quite 2 pounds. I think I was just at a pound.
and I mean, that makes sense. You're about half our size.
So I was doing like 2.2 to 2.5 pounds on the bikes.
Okay.
And that was in like a 60 something degree basement.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I definitely want to retest when it's hot out.
Yeah.
And see how much more I can sweat.
Yeah. I think like hot running, you could be.
Yeah.
5 pounds. What's the
I'm
over
gonna
under on the 5
I'm going to say
pounds?
3.5.
Yeah, 3 plus would not surprise me.
Yeah.
I bet
4 is 2 liters of water per hour, right?
Depends on,
I think that's the high, like I think that's possible, but
On a humid day.
Yeah, I think I don't know if humidity has too much to do with it, because you're going to lose the same amount of water. It's just going to drip off you as opposed to evaporate, right?
It would be interesting if I could have a bucket ready that day and just wring all my clothes out
so
into
gross.
Maybe. Well, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
So gross.
Because you've seen my sweatbands. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all seen them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like I wear one of those old school 80s sweatbands when I ride inside, and after like an hour and a half, I get to the point where I have to wring it out because it's absorbed all it can. But you, dude, it's like,
yeah.
you're like, we're going for a bike ride? Okay, let me wring it out for
I think like 6 hours. He could do 5 pounds.
Oh, in 6 hours?
No, I'm
I
saying
thought
like
in an hour.
3 to 4 pounds per
An
hour.
Hour?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. 2 liters an hour
4
would not.
pounds an hour.
I don't think it's crazy.
I would be like 0 pounds after.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, but you replace.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're
Yeah, but can you replace that much?
No.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think that's
No,
my
so
problem.
it's a big, and
It's a
that's
big-
where
big
it's a
gap.
big problem. So
Figures.
that was the first part of our sweat test. I guess we're just talking about it because we know about it. The first part of the sweat test was kind of like homework we all had to do. We had to go and do. We were asked to do a medium to hard intensity run and ride somewhere in the 45-minute to 75-minute range. Not drink any electrolytes. You could drink water, but no calories and no electrolytes. And then weigh yourself beforehand, and then afterwards. Add in the amount of water that you drank, and then figure out how much weight you lost, and that gave you how much liquid you got rid of. So we all did that, and then we came in on Friday with those numbers, and all that we did on Friday was figure out the salt concentrate or the sodium concentration of our sweat, how salty that liquid that's coming out is. Then you multiply those two numbers together, and you figure out what you've got to replace. So, James, prior to our sweat test, I think you said you thought you would be a non-salty but high volume sweater.
Yes.
And did that come out to be true?
This is exactly true. So I think I was like the lowest out of the group, 696 milligrams of sodium per liter of sweat. But yeah, I have a high. So even though the concentration was low, my report said I'm a salty sweater because of the volume of sweat. So my total milligrams lost per liter or whatever per hour of exercise is still going to be on the high end. So they still recommend the 1500.
Yeah. So when you I guess if you lose,
I'm losing like 2 liters. I'm still like 1,000 plus.
right, you're still over 1,000 milligrams.
Yeah.
You're at 1,200 milligrams per hour. And where did you guys come in? I don't think
I
our
was average.
average. So
Yeah.
average of the bell curve, I think, was like what, 1,000, 1,100, right around there.
Up to 1,200 was
Yeah.
average.
Yeah.
Marilyn, where were you?
I was 800, 790 something, just
Yeah.
under 800.
Was your number different this time than last time? Or was it
Higher.
exactly the same?
It was higher. Last time I wasn't, the person who did it, like after the test results were out, he like didn't know how to explain it to me. So that's why I was not sure. I was kind of skeptical.
He's like,
because
yep,
that's
there's
supposed to
salt
be
in
your
there.
number.
Mhm.
That's supposed to be a repeatable thing, right?
hmm
Yeah. I mean, I just don't know how, I'd like to know how accurate the sensors are, like how I'd like to know, I guess, if there's day-to-day variation that's important enough to matter. I'm sure there's little bits that are different. And then how accurate's the machine? Do you have to calibrate it often? Those kind of things. I didn't want to bother him with all my, my geeky questions, because my guess is that there's probably not enough inaccuracies to matter.
And there's probably
Right.
bands like whether you're like 600 to 800, just
Right.
probably not a
Exactly.
big difference.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're off by that couple of percent, then does it really make a difference in race day performance?
But the company is called Precision Hydration.
She
Right.
definitely seemed way more knowledgeable than the person who did my other test.
And
Yeah.
she's done Ironman
Yeah.
races and everything. I don't know
Right.
about where you went.
I don't know about that person, but
She's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Highly
Good
recommend her.
Good experience. Highly recommended. I came in pretty much where I thought I would, average, maybe like just under 1,200, I think.
You and Rich almost had the same exact number.
It was
right?
within a,
Mhm.
You were like
yeah,
1126. I was like 1187 or
I-
something.
somewhere like that. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's pretty much where, and
Average.
I kind of shoot when I've been shooting for a gram of sodium per liter of fluid that I take in. And I've inside, at least I'm at close to a liter of fluid per hour when I'm sitting there on the bike. So I found that works for me, and I don't get a sloshy stomach or anything like that. Outside, it's much harder to do. I don't know how you could, like when you're running, I can't take in that much. I guess I could with like a backpack and stuff for a long run.
They have those tabs.
That's
but
what my takeaway was.
I'm not worried too much about the sodium as much as the fluid loss. Like, I mean, but I'm not losing that much where I don't know that a person my size losing a pound or two in an hour and a half, 2 hour run is going to make a huge difference. I mean, on race day, you got aid stations, and that it's probably easier to fuel and hydrate at races than it is in training.
Right.
But that was the takeaway for me, that I do okay swimming, I do okay replacing that stuff biking, and I can do a better job running. And that salt tab, what you're talking about, was my takeaway for upcoming races, that I want to make sure that I replace that amount of salt.
And the thing I think Nikki will go over too, and she mentioned it, like you don't have to replace 1-to-1 what your loss is.
I think it'd be almost impossible to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, salt maybe not, but fluid is going to be.
And I don't know where I heard. I don't know if she said it or we read it. It was like if you get at least like 50% of what you lose, that you're doing pretty good. But it doesn't have to be 1-to-1. Those I don't know if salt tabs I've used in but the next day my teeth would feel like all the enamel was gone.
Really?
Like my
I've
teeth
never
would be
used
so
them before.
sensitive. Yeah.
Huh.
I think that's why like sports drinks like Gatorade, like they say are really bad for your teeth. It's not like the sugar.
Yeah, it's
the salts that just.
If
if you have sensitive teeth, like the next day you'll feel it.
Huh. No, I've never had that.
So I'm just imagining a pure salt tab in your mouth, like oof.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, even like those pills are only, I think they're like 250 milligrams.
Right, you have to take,
so I mean, that's
four
of them an hour. I'm like trying to run at threshold and swallow up.
And don't you have to take a certain amount of water with them? Like you can't just take them. You're not. I don't know. I worry. Am I drinking enough to take these pills?
I've seen so many different options out there for replacing salt. Like
is there a suppository version?
Oh God.
Why do we always have to go there? We always have to go
so
there.
far away.
James is just thinking of fun Instagram reels that he could make. Like, what can I say that'll be funny?
Did you guys ever try
I don't
this?
think that would be
It
good.
gave me explosive.
I don't think that would be good at all.
No.
Okay.
No. No.
Save the teeth.
Definitely
The
not.
logistics of it?
Save the teeth, but not your kit.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Let's not try that. Moving on. Yeah, what I think I'm going to start doing is like putting a little extra salt in like my gel flask and stuff just to try and get that up there. And then maybe long runs I'm going to use my vest. I've always just carried like a water.
I do all the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
So
I'm just wondering though on race day if the frequency of the aid stations is enough for me to get enough water in. Because now I think I just have to replace fluid.
I just imagine him running with like a hose.
Like I'll have to take
just a 13.1 mile hose.
I think I would have to do like 2 cups on every table. Like
I always double fist.
Do you?
Yeah.
How
much of it gets in your mouth and how much is are you wearing
it's
it?
half and half.
You'll take 2 of the same? Oh.
And then I'll stop at the water. I'll take water. I'll throw it on me. Then I'll stop and get either Gatorade or whatever and drink that and then go.
But double of each one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What if you found out that it was really good, you felt really great running with the vest and you replenished? Would you consider racing with the vest?
Yeah, why not?
Right. Because if those little cups, like it's a crapshoot what you get in those cups. You can get a cup, you can get like nothing.
That is true.
Yeah. Right. So if you missed it and now all of a sudden you're getting behind in your replacement, then suffer.
Yeah, maybe something I'll consider this year.
I don't know, because either way, you never drink the whole cup, even if it's full. I've never finished a whole cup.
Oh, really? I mean, I
because you throw it. Yeah, like you got to pinch it.
Yeah, I know that.
I love it. Okay. That's great.
I think I just got shushed.
Yeah, you got that's the precursor to a shush.
I didn't know though until Koichi told me. So
the pinch.
Right, well, I'm telling our listeners.
Yeah.
I just wore it all over my chin.
It'd be interesting to see. I guess you could add up how much you actually get out of a cup and try and do the math. I mean, they're basically every mile. Like I was more worried about it at the marathon, honestly, because the aid stations were further apart for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't every mile. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh no. I had like a whole spreadsheet worked out. But I think that, I don't know. I think every mile you get.
That's enough.
You get some, yeah.
I mean, let's call it
Maybe I just need-
7 aid stations an hour. You
Just
drink-
stop asking for the cup. Just look at the gallon of water they have. and be Like,
Yeah,
I
just
like
got
you said,
this.
you just said before, you don't replace all of it anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think the big thing, like you almost load as much as you can on the bike,
yeah,
you know,
Mm.
and drink as
And
much
bef-
there.
like the morning of.
Yeah. You
But
prehydrate and stuff.
I've had
Mm-hmm.
that, like, your stomach's just so full and slushy
Yeah,
feeling that
yeah.
you don't
You
like
definitely have
running
to
that way.
practice it and figure out what works for you and how you can do it.
I think I have to get to the point feeling comfortable enough where I drink so much on the bike where like you have to pee. Like
Yeah.
I've never had to pee during
Right.
the land portion of a triathlon. So
Right.
that's probably the amount of fluid I need.
Mhm.
New goal.
Start
Yeah.
drinking during the swim, just every
The lake water.
Yeah, there's probably all
I can
kinds
get
of
that
stuff
that
in
straw.
it.
There's like that survival straw. You ever see
Yeah,
that? Like,
with the filter in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's perfect. It sounds totally easy to do. So any other takeaways from the sweat test that you guys got that you thought would be helpful? I don't think there were any like crazy surprises, right?
Not from the test, but like the planning. I usually drink my before fluids at transition when we're setting up, and she said to drink it and finish it 45 minutes before.
Okay. So that it gets absorbed.
Yeah, and
in-
you have a
in
chance
your
to
system.
pee if you need to. And
Also, don't preload on electrolytes a
For
week
like
for a whole week.
yeah,
week
only
forward.
from the day
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Because I did that. I was doing that to retain the water, though. The
Yeah.
thing was like, if I drink a lot of water, I'm just going to pee out the water. But
Yeah,
then
you
if you have it with
probably-
salt, you'll retain some of it.
I bet the difference is like your total water levels wouldn't be different. Like you can do just as much preloading with
Yeah.
one day of it as opposed to a week. Like you're not.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of changing things up before a race, like preloading on anything. I think is the myth of eating a huge bowl of pasta the night before because it's going to
Yeah,
do
I mean, I
something
think people
for
have
Yeah,
you.
been-
it's too late by then.
Yeah, it's too late. Takes a couple days to.
I think if you can't cram. If you did it right for the
Mhm.
last whatever your training period was, trust the training.
Yeah, but so what the preloading is drinking a super salty drink like the morning of.
And
like
I think the
I
day
forget-
before too. she
Like
said.
the day
Chinese food?
before.
Also,
Cup of noodle.
And then that'll help you soak up some of that extra water.
yeah.
You know, a couple of extra ounces in your system staves off that because you're not going to replace it all.
Is that precision hydration in there?
Yes, it is.
The flavor, I don't know what it was like.
I like it.
Citrusy, like grapefruit or something. It was really
Yeah, it's just a mild
It's very light.
Of
citrus
what, the
kind of flavor.
powder, not the gel.
The gel wasn't a huge fan of.
No. Not at all.
I
So-
didn't try it. I don't even know where mine is.
I didn't
It
get
was
one.
it was actually a little thicker than I like of
Yeah.
the gel.
It was-
Yeah.
So it was like hard to get out of the packet and it
I
didn't
kinda
really
liked
have much of a
likened
flavor.
it to Morton kind of thing, but it was more gooey.
More
Yeah.
gooey.
Yeah.
It was hard to get at. Like you had to really work.
Yeah.
Rich's fault.
Yep.
One day we'll have to explain this.
Not on this podcast.
I'm crying.
Uh, switching
But
gears.
So you
though.
guys tried what the pour in thing, the mix in,
Just a regular powder.
the powder.
I've never
Yeah.
used the powder. I gotta try it.
So what's in your? What
I
do
use
you
the tablets that you drop in, like the big round
She
ones.
didn't have them, right?
No.
Okay,
I like the powder better than the
I
tablets.
gotta try it. That's what you said.
but it dissolves, right? So what's the difference?
It does. So whatever they use to help it fizz and bubble to break up the tablet, I can taste that. So
Okay.
I don't know what
Oh,
it
wow.
is, but there's something in there that any like kind of those tabs, Noon. I guess those are the only ones I've really used, Noon and Precision Hydration. I can taste the same thing. It's whatever the binder is that then fizzes.
Gotcha.
What does it taste like?
I couldn't tell you
Like chemical?
How do you know you taste it?
because I don't taste it in the powder.
Huh.
So you just know, you don't know what it tastes like, but you just don't like that taste.
Yeah, it's
Like a mushroom?
no.
Where'd you pull
Yeah,
that?
where'd you pull a
I'm
mushroom
trying to
out
figure
of?
out, like, is it chemical? Like
I gotta try the
plastic?
powder now and see.
Side by side, blind tasting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's
Our
a difference.
listeners are anxiously waiting our next.
We're gonna
episode
do that
to
at
find
the
out.
next
episode.
episode. We're
That'll
gonna
be-
have blind
Gotta
tasting.
get it now.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Powder.
I did. So going back to the sweat test, though, they said she said that your salt is like that's your signature, doesn't change.
Mhm.
But I'm curious because I know when I was younger and even into my adulthood, I would leave salty stains on
Yeah.
my clothes, and then at some point it stopped. And I've always been a heavy sweater, but at some point
Yeah.
the salt ended. And then I am where I'm at now. So I'm wondering.
I found one research paper that said that it actually does change as you get adapted to like heat.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's something that changes.
The only thing
like
I could think
over
of
time.
As a kid, did you live around this climate or
Yes.
a warmer climate?
I lived in New Jersey my whole life.
Okay.
I think my salt started shifting as soon as I got into working out, like being more active, doing CrossFit. I think that was like, so 6 years ago was about when my salt in my clothes, that residue ended. So I don't know if there's a correlation to just getting more in
more
shape.
fit.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what the paper I read was saying, that as you get more fit, you become basically like your body learns like, okay, I need to do this to cool myself off, but I also don't want to lose the salt. So it changes things a little bit. So that I'm pretty sure that happens with heat adaptation and stuff when you do like sauna or hot weather training. But I don't know if I don't know if it changes it enough to make a difference in what you need to take in, So anything else?
Nope.
No more funny Morton jokes, Rich?
Saving them for later.
Saving them. Okay. So the next thing we got something kind of exciting starting this year with the team. And that's, we're going to begin a beginner cohort or a learn to try kind of program within the team that's catered specifically for those people who have been thinking about doing triathlon, but maybe don't know the first steps to take. And so we're going to kind of design a program and a community to get them through those kind of anxious moments of how to train and how to race and prepare them for that. So James, you got a little bit to tell us about that one, or?
Yeah. So I think the idea came from just realizing we all kind of came on the team together, and some of us had a background, some of us didn't. And then we're kind of able to just train together, progress together. And we're kind of on the same path of same goals, similar races. It was just, I think, that feeling of just coming together with the group that made the experience really nice. So reflecting on, for someone who's new or an outsider, whether they're new to the sport or they've done it a couple times, but they just kind of don't have that group, I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of create a group where you could start together, advance them, progress them together, similar goals, and then eventually bring them through like the experience that we had, and then have that solid kind of training community.
Yeah.
When starting out, people find out a lot of the information about tries, transitions, bikes, whatever, what have you, from the people around them, and kind of like either getting it passed down or trying to figure out where they can read about it or getting a coach or whatever. This is unique because the cohort will get that kind of knowledge sort of like by osmosis, also because we created a program for that, so that we're going to give them all that information, and it's not a one-off, one person trying to figure it out. It's a journey that this group can take.
Yeah, because I can't imagine. I mean, like YouTube and the internet and stuff like that is an amazing resource, but you have to know what to look for. And then there's so much bullshit out there that like you have to wade through. And if a rank beginner is going to just be overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that's out there, and like to the point where they're scared to even take that first step. So
as a beginner, I remember trying to figure out one simple thing, and this is personal to me. I was like, okay, I know how to swim, or I figured it out, or I learned it, whatever it is. I'm like, but how often do I pick up my head? How do I figure out where I'm going? And thinking about it, it's not like the most obvious things that are explained in YouTube videos or you read somewhere or whatever it is. Then being part of this kind of like group and having us take you through that journey, we're going to explain things that are like that. Like people sometimes don't know. Do they bring a tube? Do they not? Do they just race without one? And those kinds of the things that they'll get a chance to absorb through this.
Yeah.
I think it was important too, just, walking into our group now, if they just saw some of the generic workouts that are just program for general fitness, it could be intimidating seeing a 5.5 mile track workout, a 3,000 yard swim workout, and whatever, the intensity on the bike workout. So, for us going on, 25, mile ride seems like just an easy ride, but if you've not put that kind of mileage in, it's intimidating. So, the idea behind this program would be, we kind of meet you where you are, find out where you're at, assess you, and then have some time to build some base. And then the workouts would be tailored to a beginner or a novice who hasn't, had a lot of experience yet, or hasn't done this type of volume or intensity, and ramp them up together in a smart way and as a group. So you don't feel alone, like you're not tagging along on a ride and it's too much, and you don't want to be like holding them back. Like you can have a group of people that all have like a 10-mile ride or something.
Yeah, and you know where you stand, and you know where you are. You're not just trying to make every workout, I got to keep up, or I got to make it harder the next time. Kind of like you said, take you through the learning curve and the progression of it.
I think one of the things I liked as we were kind of building this idea and putting all the details together was like trying to remove that barrier for entry and get everybody to the point where they could do this. And then the other thing is just the idea, like every once in a while you'll see like you'll have a race and they'll put out an 8-week plan or something like that. You register for the race, you get the plan to get you ready for it. The idea behind this is a little bit more long-term view we want to help you start this as a new lifestyle kind of thing. You're going to become a triathlete, not just get ready for a race. And so we'll teach you all that stuff to kind of build your ability so that, you're going to do a race with us at the end of the season, but then, the first 7 or 8 months is going to be getting you ready to continue that athletic journey as you go, and not just, okay, cool, race is over, take care.
Yeah.
I'm going to go sign up.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So who is the right person to sign up, right?
Because you have a lot of people out there, but
we talked about it in our first episode, right? Where do you learn to get
Yep.
all this information and all this knowledge? You don't know where to begin. And if like you just want to use triathlon for fitness, that's a great way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you just sign up.
And I think you could be a total beginner. Now, the program is not going to have like one-on-one swim lessons if you don't know how to swim.
Right.
But we can kind of get you started, give you, tips, maybe do like a session where just if we're in a group swim workout, give you some tips, but then connect you with somebody who could give you lessons and give those things to work on.
We will have the resource
to
have someone give you the lessons.
Right.
We'll give you that opportunity.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably a lot of people out there who like see stuff like this and are like, oh, I'd really like to do that, but just don't know what that first step is. So, there are some people who either know enough, they're coming from like a running background or something like that, or a different sport, and they like understand the competition idea and can just figure it out for themselves. But then there's a lot of people out there who I think could use something like this to help them.
It's a good way to enter a group, because it's hard to come into a group as someone who's never done it and everybody else has.
Yeah.
So this is perfect.
Yep. Separately, but on the same note, I feel like over the last 10 years, pandemic inclusive, I saw more people doing stuff outside. Is that something that I'm just seeing? Is it like a fact?
No, that is a thing.
No, I think
right.
so.
So people are out there and maybe they've been biking and running and like, oh, I want to try swimming, or I want to get into tri. And this is a good opportunity to try to do that.
And the thing is, a lot of people know how to run, and if you're a pretty strong runner, then this is like a perfect sport for you to enter, because you'll have a leg up on.
That's how it was sold to me. The runners always win.
Yeah. So if you remember how to ride a bike,
But
you
that's
don't
not
have to be
always
great.
true. Just saying.
But they will eventually. Just once you catch up on all the other skills, technique, that running is so hard to be really, really good at.
I'll let you know when I learn how to run.
you're just preparing yourself. But yeah, like if you can remember how to ride a bike from being a kid, like it comes back to you quickly. I think the swim might be the hardest thing if you have no experience at that at all. But it's not something you can't overcome.
Right. And I think especially we're taking this kind of long view to it. It's not like, okay, let's get ready for it in 8 weeks, more like 5 or 6 months. It doesn't take too much to slowly get better over that kind of period of time. Our goal is to have our PV Tri that we put on in August be kind of the culminating race that everybody does together. And that's a pool swim. Like it's a much lower kind of stress environment to walk in to swim in the pool. And if stuff really goes bad, you just put your feet down.
Stand up. It's not 3 feet in the middle though. We accidentally kept saying that.
Yeah.
Or, it is like 5 feet. So if you're shorter than 6 feet, then
right. So you have to grab on a lane line.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you're never too far away from safety.
Yes, and there's lifeguards.
Right. So I think, just the group aspect of things. And I mean, everything's not going to be group based. It's not like every workout you do is going to be with the group. There's going to be a lot of stuff on your own that'll be programmed for you.
And you can be doing it on your own as well.
You could be doing as much, right. You could probably be doing the entire thing on your own.
Yeah, that's the number one question I got from a lot of people who are interested. They just said, "Oh, do we have to do show up for all the workouts in the group?" And no, it's something that we want to provide that community. But if it doesn't work with your schedule, that's fine. Well, you'll have the workout, get it in when you can. Just know that people are also doing the same thing and progressing at the same rate or at the same point with you. So you're not alone doing a lower volume or lower intensity workout. You have all these peers doing it as well. And then eventually when you do get together, you're kind of like all matched up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of like the idea of, and then like that group, it's, like the kids you went to school with, like your freshmen, you grow up together, and that's what's going to happen with this group, with this, however many people it ends up being. They're going to go through some stuff together, and then they're going to have that as they move forward through the sport.
Battle buddies.
Yeah. It's always easier to get through it when you have friends.
Right. And even if you're not physically there with them, like, they're doing the same workout that week or that day or whatever, you're going to feel a little bit more motivated to get it done, So I definitely think there's some really cool possibilities for it.
And the cool thing too is you get a free Next Level custom cycling jersey.
Yeah, that's nice. I kind of want one. Maybe I'll join.
I know. That's why I said I'll join.
So,
Rich needs a
learn
new
to
one.
run.
Rich needs a new one, don't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like fake it till you make it. At least you look the part. Teach you the cool sunglasses, right length of sock.
We'll teach you how to look the part.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it. Like just feeling like you belong, especially with 3 sports to have to learn. I remember my first group ride. It was home from college. Like, I don't know, it had to be like 03, 04. I had just moved back home, and I found the BTCNJ. It's a huge club in Northern Jersey. And I showed up for a ride, and like I had a hoodie and like basketball shorts. I had bike shorts on underneath, because I knew like I'd ridden enough of a bike to know like I needed bike shorts, but I also was 23 and didn't really feel cool.
Were you wearing high tops also?
No, just like regular running sneakers.
Okay.
And I was on my dad's, it wasn't a 10 speed. It was probably like a 12 speed or 30, and showed up, and just, I looked around, and there's like expensive bikes around me. There's people just who definitely know what they're doing. And I was like, I don't belong here at all. Like, I don't know anything. It's okay. You don't have to feel bad for me. It worked out.
Look at Greg now.
I know.
Yeah.
I had the opposite experience. I went to a track workout, and I was wearing like
bike clothes?
No, not bike clothes, but like a
Full
run jersey
sandals.
and shorts
Speedo?
and like running sneakers. Like, that guy looks fast. I'm like, no, not fast. Nope. Should have showed up in like a hoodie.
Yeah. So and the thing that was the worst was it got hot, and I was sitting there in a hoodie, and I'm just like,
Did you bring water in?
Yeah. I had a water bottle. No nutrition. No water bottle.
With like Coke in it or something.
Yeah, that probably would have been better than just plain water. It was fine. Like, I didn't crash. I didn't take anybody out. Like, had a fun time. Came back for more.
How was the group though? Like, were they welcoming?
Were they accepting?
Like, how'd you feel?
I don't think anybody talked to me. So it's the ride. We started the Glen Rock Duck Pond.
There's a lot of rides out of there.
And we rode north on, and where we go up Upper Saddle River, where the Upper Saddle River 5K is. I was able to stay with the fastest people on that. And then people started talking to me.
Oh, wow.
So you earned their respect.
You had to earn it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be even more impressive. A guy in a hoodie, basketball shorts,
Yeah, right?
sneakers, and this guy's just like.
I didn't go on like a fast. It was they like grade
Still.
their
They have
rides.
AVFC rides.
Yeah,
and
so
D
this was
rides.
like a B ride.
Still,
there
B's.
might have been some 70-year-olds on the ride. Like, it was fine. I had a good time. It was a good intro, but then from that, I found a really good group of people to ride with, and they kind of took me under their wing, and I was like the young guy who was showing interest, and they were then like the old sages who could pass on that knowledge. And like every Thursday or Friday, it was like, okay, what are we doing this weekend? And I'd ride with them, and like I just remember like I was 20 something, and like the 45, 50-year-old guys who now I'm like, okay, that I guess is me. I'd just like sit there and try and take in as much as he was willing to give out as far as knowledge and stuff like that. And I the one guy, I hope he's still alive, but
wow.
he was probably like 55 back then. So I mean, he might be in his 70s, but I remember I would ride behind him because of what nice pedals he turned. Like he just spun so smoothly. His cadence never changed. He just was always smooth. He always shifted at the right times. And like I learned so much just by sitting on his wheel and like just watching. Like this is how you're supposed to ride a bike. He had this rule. He was like, I don't ride out of the big ring until I have 1,000 miles in my legs for the year. And it's like,
oh wow.
It was like, man, talk about zone 2, like just keeping it easy for a while. Like, this guy knew what he was doing, and he might get dropped in February, but come August, dude, he was ripping people's legs off. But just like I learned so much from that group that, now I feel like, okay, I can teach some of that stuff to other people, but like having that group atmosphere, people who are willing to teach you stuff is invaluable. Because if I was just out there on my own, who knows what I'd be like. I'd still be like thrashing around wearing a hoodie and basketball shorts because I wouldn't have known any better.
Yeah.
And that's something you just said, which I always kind of try and follow, is sometimes it's intimidating to ride with people or run with people that are better than you, or do anything with people that are better than you, but you learn so much if you're willing to like
that's the only way you're
tough
going to
it
get
out.
better.
Exactly.
Right?
And pay attention to what they're doing. Then it's hard, but definitely works.
Yeah, if you challenge yourself, that's the only way you change. You go outside your comfort zone, then you see improvement. I think the ultimate goal will be like that cohort eventually, because there's only so much more we can advance. Like,
I mean, we're pretty much at the pinnacle of athletic ability, right?
we have a cap, right? Like we're doing these half Ironmans, whatever, try an Ironman, but we're not pros, right? So there's a limit
for yourself.
But the goal would be that these beginner cohorts, they kind of elevate into what we're all doing. So then now we add to more people that are just training together at the same level. And it just every year, like just keep getting beginners, advance them over time. They're all improving, challenging themselves. And then we get this solid group of slightly better than average athletes.
Was the information you were getting, or the information you get when you go with people who are more advanced, is it like osmosis, or did they impart knowledge? Like, did he like, stop wearing shorts, get out of the big ring?
I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, we're going back 20 plus years. I don't really remember specifics. Like there wasn't, okay, you're going to come and we're going to sit in my basement and we're going to watch Tour de France videos and I'm going to point stuff out to you. Like that's not what this was. It was probably, I mean, group cycling is such a, you sit around and you talk, you're on the bike for 3-4 hours at a time. Like there's a lot of time to talk. So it was probably just through conversation and stuff like that. Or like we're riding in the winter and I'm sitting there shivering and they're like, oh wait, you didn't put bread bags on your feet? Like, no, I didn't put bread bags on my feet. And that was like before shoe covers were nice and stuff. You put bread bags on and that would keep the wind out and keep your feet warmer. And I'm like, all right, well, that makes sense. But who the hell would have figured that out on their own?
Yeah.
What is a bread bag?
Like the plastic
Bread.
bag that a
Plastic
loaf of bread comes in. Like
We'll come back to you on this one, Marilyn.
Like Wonder Bread. Like okay, I'm thinking
bread,
like a
loaf of sandwich bread. Comes in a bag usually,
like a plastic, just a
super thin.
This is not osmosis.
Bag.
This is
so this is so we're good at both of these, folks. If you're thinking about joining the team, there will be the.
So when I did martial arts, I was training under old school instructors, and it was not imparted onto you. It was literally, like you'd be like, oh, he's doing that. And then you would just do that.
Huh.
Or somebody would come over and maybe like move your arm a little bit.
Right.
And that's how you could maybe like not do something for 4 years. Didn't matter. It wouldn't be told. You just.
Yeah. Cycling is, I think, a little bit different when you're in a group. Like there's a safety aspect of things. So there's some things that you're going to be told, just, for your own safety and for the group safety. So there's that, but then there's I think the finer details are stuff you just absorb when you watch people do.
Pay attention, yeah.
Like shifting.
Right. I listen when you guys were the people. I listen when did you shift?
Yeah. And I would notice things like, oh, he shifts twice, and before electronic shifting, it wouldn't. Now with electronic shifting, when everybody goes into the big ring or down to the small ring, but the back, you don't necessarily hear it. So,
watch it.
He would be like, oh, he clicks twice down. I'm like, okay. Or he's spinning a whole lot faster than me at the beginning of this hill. And he's the only one who leaves me in the dust at the top, So little things like that you absorb through osmosis. But I think a lot of the big things are real simple, but they are things that you wouldn't think about. Like when we were working on in a pace line as a group here, I had to say you can't overlap wheels. That wasn't a thing that you'd probably ever, if you hadn't been told, you probably would have never thought about it. But it could have had really bad consequences if you did it.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing was Greg told me, instead of me learning it, when I was pulling, that I was pulling going out hard instead of smoothing it out.
Yeah.
And Greg was awesome. Pulled over, he's smooth that out.
Yeah.
And that's something that could have taken 4 years for me to figure out, where I was okay, no problem. And that was such an easy click.
And triathletes get a bad rap for their bike handling skills. So it'd be nice to get people on the right path to that kind of stuff. And there's so many things you can just swimming, biking, running that you need to learn that just make the experience so much more fun, and make you faster. So
yeah,
that's the thing too. You will work harder in a group than by yourself.
Yeah,
also
100%.
This will be both of that, and it'll be some things through osmosis, some things through learning, some things through a group.
So James, if people are interested, they're listening out there, what do?
Go to goteamnltry.com and you can find the link there for the beginners program. You can read the description, everything includes. There's more benefits of just being, it basically includes all the benefits of being on the Team Next Level Tri team. So read up on that, things like Normatec recovery, group 3 other group workouts if they wanted to go to, just training with us. It's all listed up there, including the custom jersey or just the next level jersey. So they can just buy that online. If not, they could just email me any questions, james@nlphysio.com. See how much spam I get.
We also have just a info at Go Team Next Level, right? Or
go teamnltry.com.
So we'll put all that stuff in the show notes and stuff, so that it's easy to find. But yeah, I think it'll be a cool thing. And I don't think there's a hard start date necessarily, right? I think it's something that we could be able to roll people into.
Yeah, it could be a rolling kind of program. If you want to make the PV Tri, which if you don't know what that is, it's a shorter sprint triathlon that we host, or that Next Level and the triathlon team hosts right here in Hillsdale. Pool swim, 10-mile bike, and a 5K run. That'd be a great race to kind of build up to, and we'd get you there, be able to do successfully. If you've done that race before last year, first time, we could get you even more prepared, or even get you ready to do something like the Wyckoff Tri, something a little bit longer. Whatever your goals are, we want to get you there. So yeah, just go onto the website, sign up, and then we'll take it from there. You're going to get these 4 geniuses in your corner. At least 3. 3 geniuses and myself,
and Greg.
helping you out, reaching those goals.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, life changing.
Maybe
one way or the other.
All right. Anything else, guys?
No.
Yeah, if you're on the fence, just do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's something you won't regret.
So fun.
Yep. And we got a great group of people, and I think the sky's the limit for it. You'd be amazed at how much better you can make yourself at.
I have to tell you, when you put in all the work, training, and you do your first race and you cross that finish line,
it feels pretty good, right?
Unbelievable feeling.
Yeah.
And you're gonna want that feeling over and over again.
Yep. So, like we said, if anybody has any questions, reach out through email, through our website. We'll have links for everything in the show notes. And I think that's going to do it for today, guys. This is like half of a normal show, short and sweet, to the point. So thanks everybody for listening. Please like, subscribe. We've a couple more people have subscribed. We're now at about 50% of our listens are from subscribers. We were at like only 25%. So more people are subscribing. If you have any friends in the endurance community, tell them about us. Get our name out there, because word of mouth is probably the best way to get people to start listening and enjoy all that the Quad Pod has to offer.
We may have a special guest next time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a good one.
The Godfather.
Does he know you call him that?
No.
He
does now.
He does now.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, special. We're going to go back to having a guest on the show next week. And but for now, that's all we got. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll catch you next week. All right, everybody. Adios. Thank you again for listening to the Team Next Level Coaches Roundtable. We love bringing you content that we think will help you with your athletic journey, whatever that may be. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave a review, drop us a 5-star rating in whatever podcast app you like to use, or leave us a comment about things you'd like to hear in the future. If you'd like to learn more about Team Next Level and all we offer, please go check out our website, goteamnltry.com. That's goteamnltry.com. There, you can find out about all the things we offer, such as our training squad for people in the northern New Jersey area, one-on-one coaching options for both local and remote athletes, as well as more useful content for those of you just looking to learn a little bit more about us. Remember, that's goteamnltry.com. Thank you again for giving us a listen, and for myself and all the coaches, we can't thank you enough for listening to our podcast and spending some time with us.